For most people, their New Year's resolution is to be more positive and to try to see the best in people.
Speaking for myself, I usually just have a New Year's resolution to just stay positive, because I'm a pretty positive guy and I don't see the best in people because I just skip the middleman and just hang out with good people.
But not friggin' me, because my New Year's resolution is to expose more predators and people who I think are just plain nasty, and to do that on this channel.
What a very self-righteous and cunty kind of like jaded way to look at the world. I'm pretty sure it won't backfire against anybody, right?
A lot of you are aware of Drake, aka Aubrey Graham, aka Jimmy from Degrassi, the character that got shot in the back during a school shooting and then was written off the show by him blackmailing his father to let him get experimental surgery in Sweden. No, that is not a joke. Yes, I know that off the top of my head, and absolutely Degrassi did indeed go there. And by go there, I mean go to that sweet, sweet spot that only terrible television shows can go to, like Riverdale and Pretty Little Liars.
Well, to be fair, being in a wheelchair disables you to a lot of things that we take for granted if you're able-bodied. And I just like to say that, he's was not only put in a wheelchair, but he was a basketball player. And being a basketball player in a wheelchair is like being an architect or a painter and then you go blind. He couldn't do his profession that he loved all his life. So I don't blame him for, trying any means to do any experimental surgery to get his legs back. I would do the same.
Drake, for me, is famous for being the male counterpart to Taylor Swift. He is the Taylor Swift of hip-hop, and being the guy who constantly loves to complain about how nobody really likes him and how he just wants to love and cherish a woman, but all these mean girls are just jerks and assholes. They keep rejecting nice guy Drake. If you read Drake's lyrics, they literally sound like the diary of a guy who unironically wears a fedora and bows to women after meeting them and tells them to break up with their partners because he would be so much better for them. He literally sounds like a guy who would ask girls to kiss in front of him to prove that they're gay.
I think it's pretty unfair to compare Drake to Taylor Swift because at least Taylor Swift writes her own music. But all jokes aside, Taylor Swift have a lot of how could I say this, connections with Drake when it comes to exposing your emotions. And this is why a lot of artists keep with these vain themes of just not caring about people, because when you do, you get criticized for being too over emotional and clingy in this kind of like the stalker type. Like when Taylor Swift like 22 and she was dating like a 18-year-old, I think it was Harry Styles, people called her a cougar. And I'm like, man, she's 22. Come on, guys. And, Drake, he does seem a little bit like that when it comes to Rihanna or, Nicki Minaj and shit like that. So I can agree with her on that part.
It's 2020, and your girl isn't gonna pull her punches. Especially with a man who decidedly gave a job to someone who had been arrested for domestic violence and faced charges of forcing a woman into prostitution as well as human trafficking. Something super fun and casual that we all like to do on the weekends. So let's start there, shall we? Because that's as good a point as any. Seems like a really chill, easy way into this swimming pool. You see, back in June 2017, Drake signed his former bodyguard onto his label directly after that bodyguard was let out of prison. After he was signed, Drake let the media know that he was so happy to sign this former inmate because he knew Vodka Not Nice was making a change for himself and was dedicating his life to music, and he just wanted to be there for him and provide him with that opportunity to do so. Like such a nice guy who cherishes women and their safety and just wants to put them at ease. Such a nice, wonderful person.
Wow, these are some really serious charges that will land a person in jail for decades. And he was charged with this in 2015, 5 years ago. That seems a little lengthy. How come he isn't sentenced yet? Or how come he didn't serve the particular charges that he was charged with yet? Could there be that Drake hired some lawyers that got him a plea deal? Could it be that he already went to trial and he was found innocent? Please elaborate more into this story.
However, Vodka Not Nice was put in prison after being found guilty of assault of a 22-year-old escort who he claimed was his girlfriend. There were other charges to go with that stemmed from this newly signed rapper forcing the same girl into prostitution and sexual slavery, and those charges continued all the way up to full-on human trafficking. However, those charges ended up being dropped because the 20-year-old victim was traumatized, understandably, by that situation and wanted to move on from that. Like, she had told the court system everything, but couldn't bear testifying, which is completely and utterly understandable. Now,
that shit isn't understandable to me. How the fuck can you be, like, forced into sexual slavery, attacked, assaulted, and probably even raped, and you're like, one day, you just wake up one day and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna move on. Why? So the guy can learn from this and be like, you know what, I got away with it once, I can get away with it again. This bitch should be in jail. Not Baca, or at least both of them should be in jail because you're letting abuser out and somehow she's the fucking hero of this story. Like somebody tortures you and abuse you and you just let them go to do it to another person? Are you fucking kidding me? And this is understandable to you, you bitch? What the hell? Look, you can't have it both ways. You can't have your cake and eat it too. If a woman speaks up about abuse, she's a hero, yeah. But if she don't, and or if she speaks out against abuse, and then she decides one day, fuck it, I'm not gonna testify and let the douchebag go, who gives a fuck? That's that bitch problem. She decides to let an abuser go, and suddenly it's Drake's problem that she doesn't care that she got assaulted. If you don't care about your case, why should anybody else care about your case, bitch? Come on.
Now, something that I really should impart on you right now is that Drake, Aubrey Graham, Jimmy, whatever you want to call him, bitch-ass McTittyfuck, was very aware of exactly what had happened with his friend. He was very aware of the illegal actions that led to the arrest of his bodyguard, and he stood by this man through all of that. And after he was released, literally gave this man, who was complicit in human trafficking and sexual slavery, a platform and a shitload of cash, and told him to go out there, dude. Here are all my fans, all my young, impressionable fans who love my work. Go victimize them. Go right on ahead.
Look, I wouldn't care if this guy assaults again if all the bitches are like yourself and just wake up and be like, yeah, you know what? I was sexually assaulted, beaten, raped, and then, trapped in like the basement by some guy. But instead of pursue the case, I'm just going to give a statement and then deny the guy the right to see his accuser. I'm just going to be like, fuck it. Just walk away. Just let this guy do it again to another, victim. I mean, you realize there's such a thing as innocent until proven guilty, right? It's kind of this male concept that the founders made, that you're innocent until proven guilty and you have a right to face your accuser. If this bitch don't care that her accuser get away, why should Drake? It's not like the bodyguard actually did it to him. Fucking kidding me? And you're like, nah, bitch McTittyfuck. You should have called Drake that. You should call this bitch that because she allowed a abuser to go away. Who gives a fuck? Drake can just plausibly be innocent until proven guilty, and that's fine in my mind. And you're applauding this bitch who allowed her abuser to go away. If she doesn't care that her abuser is out on the streets, why should Drake? Are you fucking kidding me? I guess in female law, it's guilty until proven vag, I guess. I don't know.
Now, I know what I'm going to get on this video is a lot of Drake stans yelling at me about how he's a woke god and he's a feminist hero who looks amazing with his ugly chin strap beard. But before any of you type that out, I want you to realize that what I'm doing right now, this is not fear mongering. or making anything up. Vodka Not Nice, real name Travis Savory, was convicted in a court of law of domestic violence and was charged with human trafficking. This man is a dangerous person who should not be the front man for any entourage. He shouldn't be a part of a famous person's entourage. He was complicit in human what? That is insane. That is absolutely bonkers. But you know what? Who cares, really?
Yeah, who cares? Because surely the victim doesn't. I mean, if somebody, I don't know, sexually assaults me and then steal my laptop, and then I show up at the part of the trial where he or she stole my laptop and not the sexual assault, and they get away with a misdemeanor for stealing my laptop, who gives a fuck if they got away with sexual assault, since I don't? Like, are you fucking kidding me, man? And he got arrested for, I'm sorry, I don't know if he did a plea deal for the domestic violence, which is pretty bad, but I think sex trafficking is worse. So wait, did the dumb bitch just show up for the domestic violence and then decided to skip town when it comes to prostitution? Look, I don't know what's up. I don't know what's up with this bitch. I don't know. I don't know if she just decided she had a open weekend and she just decided to go to the courtroom, but she was partying too much to actually go to her sexual assault trial or prostitution or whatever. But if she doesn't care, I don't care either. Now, leave a like on this video or leave a dislike if you're a pussy. Share this video, like it. If the victim doesn't care, neither do I. Bye.